I'm sitting here with Todd Baker from Todd Guitars, and I figured that we could talk a little bit about guitar setup, because we were having a discussion about this. And you know, I think most people feel like your guitar, as soon as you get it from the factory, even brand new, that it's set up and ready to go. And my attitude is it's not. I mean, when you buy a car and you go get in it and you sit down and is the seat adjusted for you? Are the mirrors adjusted for you? My answer is going to be no. So guitar is pretty much the same way. I mean, not every person has the same size hands, the same everything, and they need it set up. And what do you think about that, Tom? You think that's a good analogy of what the guitar setup?
Yeah, I mean, no guitar when you first get it is going to be set up for you, you know. Almost all major guitar companies do not do anything with the frets, the saddles, or the nuts. So they just try to get it into playing to where somebody could pick it up and it won't buzz, it'll play. And a lot of times people don't know, so they just get it and play it, and that's what it is. You know, they don't understand the fundamentals of a setup.
Noticed is that anytime I've had a guitar set up, it went from playing like, you know, what I feel like is $100 guitar to what I would consider a custom shop, $4,000 or $5,000 guitar. And that's what I've noticed every time I've had something set up, is it goes from feeling okay to now I want to play it because it's easier to play. Well, I've noticed when you've done my guitars, I don't get near as much buzz out of it. I don't have certain notes that buzz out. I've noticed that even just I don't get tired playing it because I don't have to push so hard on the strings, and that it stays in tune better.
Yeah, and all those little things, it's so minute. I think of it as a small thing, but it really does. Those little things do make a difference, a huge difference.
Well, do you want to pick up a guitar and show, like, when you're talking about the nut, what that is? Because I don't think a lot of people, you know what a nut is.
Okay, so real quick, this is your nut. The strings sit in the nut, right here. Two things. Most guitars come with a plastic nut, and plastic is a tone suck. So as soon as somebody brings me a guitar, I typically say, hey, let's get a bone or some sort of tusk that they've done studies and research on. That's fine. I'm a bone guy. Some people like brass. Some people, it doesn't really matter. Plastic is a tone suck. So the first thing about the nut, though, is the cut. Real quick on that, if the nut is cut too high, your first note is going to be sharp.
What do you mean by cut? I'm saying this so doesn't know.
The slots in here are cut individually. If you can see that slot where the string goes in, those are cut specifically for whatever gauge string that you're playing. So when I cut a nut, I have certain files that I go in and slot those slots. I cut
so
those.
They don't flop around in that spot.
Right, they don't flop around, or they're not pinching the string, which will oftentimes cause tuning issues. It lets them slide in there freely when I cut them to the correct gauge. So if that's cut too high, your first note will be sharp. If it's cut too low, you'll get string buzz. Well, there.
Mine needs a new nut.
You'll get string buzz and it'll be flat. So there's a specific cut in that nut. Also, if you don't know, a lot of nuts come not cut for the string size, right? They're just cut from the factory. And you'll notice that you start getting fatigue when you play up here because the nut is so high that you're really having to push down on that string, and then you get into intonation issues. So there's all kinds of stuff. Number one is your frets. Frets are the most important thing on a guitar. I don't care who has to say what. The frets, that is what makes your tone.
Unless you're fretless.
unless you're fretless. Come on, fretted instruments here. If those aren't milled correctly, you will get dead notes. I have not worked on this one, so I'm sure there's some stuff.
You did a real quick setup on it maybe a couple years ago. Didn't use it.
So you'll get choke notes, you'll get dead notes, you'll get notes that don't ring true. None of the factories glue their frets in. There's a whole ton of stuff, glue or not, but I believe in it. If you get a fret that's not seated correctly and it is actually moving in that slot, and also it'll create dead spots in that fret, so you could hit this string on this fret, it'll be clear, and then you'll go to the next string and it'll be a plump. That's because either A, it's not glued and seated properly, or B, there is a high fret in front of it, and so therefore it's not ringing true. So the first thing I like to do is the frets. Let's get those leveled. Next comes the nut. Let's get that in there and cut properly. And then the saddles. The saddles really do make a difference. You want your saddles cut. Each one of these has a slot just like the nut. You want them cut properly for the gauge of string and also the radius of your neck. All necks come in different radiuses. And so you want to get the radius from your neck and radius your strings on the saddles. So mechanically, you're playing the right radius of your neck. I see all kinds of issues on a daily basis, and those three are the main issues. Now, you could get into tuners. We could go there. There's a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? But this is what I do.
Maybe we'll check out my guitar again after I have it set up properly. I've had it set up once, but I didn't go the full 9 yards. I obviously need a new bone nut or something like that. A new nut. I need better tuners because I constantly have to tune that thing, and I know it's the cheap tuners that came with it. You can get a lot of these guitars and just upgrade them and make them a lot better playing just by, it's like anything else. You make upgrades, nicer parts, you get a nicer result.
Just know this too, that most places you can take your guitar in there and say, hey, I need a setup. Well, what I've seen in the past is they take your guitar in for the said setup and either raise or lower your action, put more or less relief in the neck, and don't do anything with your nut. And they're trying to get your guitar to not make noise, because that's most of the time people want to set up because their guitar is buzzing or something is going on. Most of the time, those places won't tell you that you need your frets leveled first. That's the first thing that you need to get done. Your frets need to be leveled, then we can move on and actually set the guitar up how it needs to be set up. And part of the process of my setups is cutting the nut correctly, even if you don't want a new nut. Let's take care of your frets, cut the nut correctly, cut the slots on the saddle correctly, then you'll have a guitar that actually plays correctly. There's no such thing as a quick fix when it comes to guitars. You need it done right. Yeah?
Makes sense. I mean,
I'm not trying to sell anything here. I actually think that other shops should do that more often. I don't know why the first thing that isn't said is either a fret level or some sort of something to get your frets corrected. Because none of them come with a fret level from the factory. None of them. They don't do it from the factory. So.
Well, they don't know what kind of strings you're going to use and
Right.
what you're going to do, so they
Right.
have to kind of put it a little bit generic.
Get it out the door.
Yeah.
Yep. Too many cases where these guys will bring in these beautiful acoustic guitars, brand new acoustic guitars that just sound like they don't sound very good. There's plastic nut, plastic saddle, the frets aren't level, and the action's high. You know, you pay $250, you get your frets leveled, you get your nut and your saddle, a nice bone cut nut and saddle, and that thing, as soon as I string it up, like, it's night and day. Huge difference.
That makes sense, because you're coming out and
Yeah,
talking to
man.
me today about this stuff. I just figured it was useful information that could be sent on to the viewers on this channel, and they could check it out.
Thanks for listening.
All right, take it easy.